I don't feel like I have to try to figure out the right emotion, but like I said, when he would side with Steven against Amanda, I'm just like, you gotta look at it from both ends. Yes, she needs to communicate more and not do shit before talking to her husband, but he needs to kind of be a little bit more understanding and realize sometimes accidents happen. Like, he was pissed because he thought she got a home loan, didn't tell him. She told me that she was signing up for those rent-to-own homes, and you know how sometimes when you log on, your information gets sent to, like, schools, loan places. I mean, I can't tell you how many times I have gotten phone calls from a bank and, you know, asking me about auto loan. Like, I don't even have a license, let alone a car. You know, it's like, wrong person, dude. You know, like I said, Bobby is the sweetest, most dedicated man I've ever met. And he's got to drive. When he's got something in his head, he'll go full force. But when it comes to relationships, yeah, it's flip-floppy. But like I said, I know I'm not perfect, but just like I'm trying to give him time to change, time to kind of see things from my point of view. I got to do the same thing, and I've been trying. That's why, you know, I try not to nag him anymore. The only time I try to nag him now is when it's stuff that, you know, it's pressing, like for housing and stuff. But even then, it's like, I will send him one message. Hey, babe, I know your mind's all over the place, but remember you wanted to do this, this, and this? And that's it. I don't even ask him if he did it when he gets home. Because if he did it, great. If not, there's tomorrow. But when he's blaming me for nagging him, and Amanda's, I'm looking at her like, excuse me, you told me to message him and remind him. And she'd be nagging me to do it. And I'd be like, I told him, and I'd let him know. Amanda wanted me to tell you. I'm just passing on the message, not nagging, not in it. And I keep telling her, I'm like, why don't you text them? And she would make up some excuse or another, and it's like, so great, I'm getting blamed for you being the naggy one. You know, and with Bobby, I don't nag him because I think he's incompetent. I nag him because I know how it feels to have so much in your head, and you're trying to balance all these different things, all these tasks for every situation between work, the kids, you know, relationships, friendships. It's a lot. And not to mention doctor's appointments we got to keep regularly. So, yeah.
I got to remind James that I've got a doctor's appointment on Wednesday at 8:20 in the morning.
Ooh, fun. But that's my point, is that I don't nag him to, you know, to make him feel incompetent. I nag him to just that way it's like, hey, don't forget this, because I know if you forget it, you're going to be pissed. You know, just like when he reminds me of stuff, it's like, I don't get pissed off about it, because I forget things a lot. My tumors, I don't just forget things. It's like the memory doesn't exist anymore. It just stops. It's like watching a movie with a clip missing.
And that's, with tumors, that's actually quite understandable, because your pathways aren't firing correctly.
They're not. It's the way neurons work is it's like a net. They're little bridges.
I understand neurology.
And
now, what does, because I know you already made the comments about how Steven doesn't believe in a lot of mental stuff.
He doesn't believe in mental illness. He has told me over and over again, he's like, I don't believe in that shit, bipolarism and ADD, ADHD, ADFD. He thinks they're just excuses for people's behavior and they just need more willpower.
No, because I'm ADD and I'm also got a learning disability.
Yeah.
I'm really good at taking information in. It's the processing it back out that I have some difficulties with.
Yeah. And like I said, you know, and at first I used to be like him because I was adamant, I have nothing wrong with me. And that's because my mother was always taught me, suck it up. You can control it. Like even my glitches, she'd slap me around for like, you can control it. I can't. And it wasn't until later I kind of just accepted that, yeah, there isn't anything wrong with me. It's just, I work differently than others.
what made my parents mad the most. Um, when my sealed files got released to me in high school,
Uh-huh.
we found out that I had originally been diagnosed with ADD in first grade,
Yeah.
but the school system had decided that they wanted to deal with the diabetes, and that maybe by dealing with the diabetes, the ADD would be able to deal with itself.
Yeah.
Because they thought the two were interconnected,
Yeah.
which they weren't.
Yeah. Anytime my mom put me in school and I was having troubles, they would suggest.
Oh, I see light.
Woo. They'd suggest help, and my mother would just pull me out of school and punish me. And I'm like, no, that's just not how it works. And that's why with Bobby, I know he's not this asshole that everybody wants to believe whenever something like this happens. Like, everyone's like, you need to give up on him. He's never going to change. His own family has said that to me. And I'm just like, no.
Wrong attitude.
You don't give up on something just because it's not perfect. Nothing is freaking perfect. And if it is, it's a lie. You know, God even admitted he made mistakes.
Uh-huh.
You know, Bobby is perfect to me. And I know that because when I wake up and when I go to bed, even when we fight, I wouldn't want to go to bed with anybody else, especially not by myself.
Yeah. Well, it's like even when I have my fights with James, and I may turn my back to him because I'm mad at him, but I'd rather still be right there next to him.
Exactly. Or like me, like when Bobby and I didn't make love, yeah, I have the urges, so I would handle them myself, and he'd get upset by it because then it's like a slap in his face. And I'm like, I'm not doing it because I'm not satisfied with you. I'm doing it so I don't nag you. To be honest, though, it's empty, it's hollow, it's not very satisfying at all.
Mm-hmm.
And that's because it's not with him. Like, he used to get mad that I watched porn, even though he watches porn too, because he thought I was imagining other people. And I'm like, hell no. I replace all of them with us. Trust me, baby. You don't know how hot and steamy my fantasies get. You know, and...
Oh, James has a pretty good idea how hot and steamy my fantasies get.
But no. Bobby... And that's why, you know, and I thought, because don't get me wrong, when you remember Susan.
Yeah, Susan and the
Hardware Susan.
The one that is married to Tim.
Yeah. And I'm sure you've met Tim.
Oh, I had to work with him.
Oh, sorry.
He is rough around the edges, but I think with being with James has taught me to be able to deal with people that are rough around the edges like that.
Now, see, I liked him at first, but then when he and Bobby started working together and I came for my lunch break and sat in the car, I didn't like the things Tim was saying to Bobby. He was telling him how you should say whatever you want, however you want, no matter, and if people don't like it, well, tough. Well, saying that to a person who's bipolar, you're kind of trying to show them that there's a better way to communicate something than just being an asshole. And that's what I felt Tim wasn't understanding. I was like, look, I'm trying to help Bobby better communicate, teaching him that it's okay to be an asshole. No bueno. And then when Tim was talking about having a drink with Bobby, he's like, you drink bourbon? I'm like, no. Bobby and bourbon. And even Bobby was like, no, me and bourbon don't mix. Fireball, yes, but no.
And like James and Jack Daniels. That is the one alcohol that I will not let him have. I've already heard enough of the horror stories out of James's mouth, and I got a little confirmation from his ex. Jack Daniels is the only alcohol that will take James's already short fuse and make it almost non-existent.
Same with Bobby. Like, that is the first time I'd ever seen him get violent. And yeah, I mean, that's not my Bobby. Don't get me wrong. Beer makes him a little overly emotional. Bourbon is, yeah, that's a big no-no. But wine, red wine, I like. And when we have our wine coolers together, I love that. And yes, when he makes his Fireball and vanilla Coke, I love it, even though it's a mixer and I usually drink shit straight. But,
James has never gotten to see me on. I and I think it's because I've done Jaeger bombs and the Jaeger Red Bull mixes before.
Oh, yeah.
I love Jaeger.
Oh, Jaeger is nice. Jaeger gets you where you want to go quickly.
But this one bar in Bozeman, I don't know if they were still open when you first moved to Montana.
I've never been to Bozeman.
But you've probably heard of this place. It's called KO's Club.
Nope.
Anyways, they'd started instead of Red Bull, they started introducing Red Lion. No, Roaring Lion.
Oh, okay.
And right after I'd gotten my neck brace off from my car wreck, my best friend, my friend at the time, and his ex-girlfriend now, they had taken me out that Friday night. And I was downing the Jaeger mixes and Jaeger bombs left and right. By the time we'd gotten to the Eagles in Bozeman, every other word out of my mouth was F that, F this. And I guess I had put in a song request to do it for karaoke, but when my name came up, I was very belligerent saying that I didn't put a song in. Last thing that I do remember is that I was trying to pick a fight with some guy that was adamantly saying that he was a Vietnam veteran. Older than me.
Yeah, I know that feeling. Trust me, my middle child sperm donor claims he was a Army Reserve or Army Ranger, something like that. Something top notch. And I'm just like, the way you act, you would bring shame to the Air Force. Okay? And like, Air Force is just a little bit above, National Guard. What's that other one?